Hey, Chris.
Hey, Matt.
How you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. Thank you. How are
I feel
you?
like I haven't talked to you in like 5 minutes.
We've been talking a lot lately. Yeah.
Yes, we have. Yeah.
Uh,
Hey, everybody out there in internet land. I see the chat's already blowing up. Great to see you.
who's with us?
Well, let's take a look. We have Jay.
Hey, Jay from the sunny Bahamas.
Yeah. And Peoria. Gosh,
Hey,
I'm
Peoria.
sorry. I keep forgetting what your name is. I just know this is your YouTube handle. Let us
Oh,
know in the chat. Yeah. Uh,
Peoria.
Thanks for that, Jay. Yes, prolific is what we titled 2022 as. So, you know, I don't know. I'm just saying words.
Hey,
Hey,
Steve.
Steve, what's going on? Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, great. So yeah, we've got gosh, more people rolling in right now. Seems like we were live yesterday. We're live today.
you and I weren't on camera yesterday, though.
Correct. Yet we were
Yeah,
there.
we were.
We were there.
Yep, we were there.
Yeah,
Just because you don't, if you don't see us, it doesn't mean we're not there. We're usually
that's
there.
true. That's true.
So,
Oh, and here we
yeah.
go. Thank you, Charles.
Charles.
I'm
Well,
making a note
hello,
of that.
Charles.
Hello, Charles, and thank you. If I forget again, please forgive me. But I'm gonna try my darndest not to. So thank you for that. Um, yeah. So I mean, we'll talk about all the other liveness we're gonna have. I'm sure lots of people here understand that. But my gosh, the Herculean effort of what, and it was a group effort, but
Mhm.
Chris, you really led the charge on this one, and I want you to accept the credit. The
I don't like
glossary.
doing that.
Oh, I know you don't, but I'm forcing you. The glossary was something that you really you led on, and you really drove it, and I think you wrote the majority of it, if not. So great job, man! It is so
Okay,
amazing.
thank you.
Yeah,
But I got to throw it back and say that I would not have been able to do it if I hadn't spent the last 7, 8 years hanging out with four of the best night photographers in the world. So, learn a lot just by hanging out with you guys. So,
right, right. And we
yeah.
use
But
words
yes, but
all the
we
time.
all did work on it to some degree, all
Yeah,
five of us, as
yes,
usual.
yes, and we use words
So,
all the time.
we do, yeah. And it's a big part of how we teach, right? I mean, it's a big part of how we teach, a big part of how we do things. I mean, every niche has its own vernacular
Yeah,
for a reason, right? It's not just being part of the club and knowing what the words are. It's an important part of communication because there's concepts that are really particular to what we do,
yeah,
and having that common language allows us to talk about it and to grow as a niche.
indubitably. And I guess the other part that you're really hinting at the beginning is that if you're on the outside looking in, these words can be daunting,
Yeah,
and that's why it's great that we drew this together and we've provided this glossary, which is only going to live and grow, right?
yeah, that's the plan, right? Because I mean, I think there's 270 terms in it. But there's got to be ones we missed. I mean, in
Mhm.
fact, even we were already in layout. It was, I want to say it was either Friday or Saturday that we added a word,
Mhm.
and it came from one of the sponsors of the Night Photo Summit, as Spencer's Camera, and they had mentioned their giveaway as giving away an Astra modification of a
Mhm.
camera,
Yeah,
and I saw that. I was like, oh, well, that's not in there. I mean, that's a word, right? So this is going to be happening, right?
yeah.
We're gonna, we're gonna be chatting, and we're like, oh, that word's not in there, and that word's not in there. I imagine we're gonna get emails about,
Hmm.
oh, you know what word you should put in there. Um, so you know, let's put the growth of it this way. Okay, so yeah, I started it, I lifted it. You guys all helped, and the next phase is that every the whole night photography community, as far as I'm concerned, can pitch in.
Please.
If you saw something that we missed,
Yeah,
send it our way. And one thing you might notice is that we didn't want to get carried away. We didn't want it to be a photography glossary. There's a
right,
lot of words that aren't in here because they're not specific to night photography.
right.
And maybe specific to night photography is not the way to do it. They're directly applicable to some area of night photography. So, like,
Yeah,
we didn't do lens. You know, if you're a
Right.
night photographer, you know what a lens is. You don't need us to put that in the glossary, right? Now we did put DSLR, and the reason is because there's this DSLR versus mirrorless thing in photography in general, but in the night world, and it's something that we talk about, the pros and cons of each. So that was something we did. So some of those might seem like gray area terms, and maybe they are, but a lot of it was, you know, looking through our blog posts and the presentations we do, and what are the terms we use, right? So that's what, so that's what's there.
I can't. Well, let's just say kick it off right here. If anybody here watching right now, whether it's live or on the replay, if you think of something that wasn't there, drop it in the comments. Drop it in the chat here. Drop it in the comments wherever you're watching it, be it Facebook, YouTube, on our blog, or drop us an email at adventure@nationalparksatnight.com.
Webcam focus, is that in there?
No, it's
webcam fuzz.
See, we all have focusing issues, right?
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to make you happy.
What's that?
When are the glow-in-the-dark crescent moon word t-shirts going to be available?
I think we're going to have to do those.
I think so. Well, let's show everybody what we're talking about. I'm going to share my screen, and let's make sure it's the right one. There it is. So this is the blog post. We'll make sure that the link is already there in the chat. But here's what Jay is referring to. Chris, how did you make this?
It was actually there's a website where you can generate these, and you know what? We should give them a shout out because it's a free service. They do have some kind of a paid level, but it's pretty impressive what you can do.
So cool
for free. And what is? I wish I thought to. You know what? We'll post it up in the comments when. Yeah, they've got a great engine where you can put in your terms, and you can just like upload a CSV of them or whatever. And then it took a little bit of work to kind of hone it. But you can pick your fonts and your colors and the shape and all that. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
A really great idea. And what Jay said was, where was it? This was the first thing I said to Chris. As soon as I saw the graphic, I said, "When's the t-shirt coming out?"
Yeah.
Thanks for that validation, Jay.
Yeah.
And Sandra wants it as a sweatshirt, so.
So it's wordclouds.com.
Oh, wordclouds.com.
Yeah.
Nice. Post that in the chat.
Yeah, and it's, I gotta say, for a free design tool, it was pretty robust. You get some options in there, and you can do a pretty decent sized graphic. I think it's if you want to like get a huge file or order a print or something, that's where they make their money. But they're not watermarking and do all that stuff. I thought about putting a little Waldo in there too, but
that would be so great. Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, we've talked a lot about what, I mean, we didn't really, we get to it. I'm stumbling over my words because I have Princess Tuna here. She always distracts me. Yeah, this is a comprehensive glossary of night photography terms. The blog post points to the two different ways that you can consume this, that you can enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
So right here, it's pretty clear. There's a web page, and there's also an ebook version of it. We're going to hop over to the web page real quick and show you guys what that looks like. You can find that on our website under guides. So it's right here under Night Photography Glossary. So you'll find it here. And wonderful cover there and Bryce Canyon.
It's a very nice cover photo, Matt.
Oh, I'm sorry. I keep thinking that's Tim. I guess I made the photograph.
Yep.
I didn't realize that. It looks like a Tim thing. So
yeah. I will say this too. There's over 80 photos in the ebook, and they're almost exactly evenly divided between the five of us.
Funny how that happens.
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, there's a lot of really wonderful things in here. I just want to call out Airglow, not because it comes early in, but this is one of the things I had absolutely no concept of when I started really getting serious about night photography and then going out into darker sky places. Um, and I think the first time that I experienced Airglow was when I was with Gabe, and we were at the Devil's Tower National Monument. And I took a photograph, and I said, "Oh God, what is that green stuff in the sky?" Gabe's like, "That's Airglow." And then we had a discussion about it, and now it's a natural phenomenon. So um, I think it's fascinating to learn more about it. And then as you take more pictures and like you go out places like northern Arizona or Utah, that you start to see that there's many different colors of air glow, and they're all from
Yeah.
different strata and stuff. Like so, starting a discussion like just based on a word is really what happens. Like I saw something in a picture, and the concept didn't gel until we talked about it, until we discussed what its name was and what its name meant. And
Hmm.
then it started to really become something that my mind could latch onto. And there's the power of words, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think I think you picked a really good example here of hopefully how this can be useful, because not only is there air glow, there's also sky glow, and a
Mhm.
lot of people confuse them, which is okay. It's it's understandable to confuse them, but where I think it's important is um, one of the questions we get a lot is, how do I get air glow out of my photos? And I said, well, I don't know that you want to, because it's a natural phenomenon. And now somebody might be talking about sky glow, which is not a natural phenomenon. So that's when you get glow in the sky, in a night sky, because of light pollution. And they're very similar terms, but it is important to know the difference if you're the kind of photographer who, um, maybe you only like shooting natural things, right?
Right.
So you should know that sky glow that air glow is a real natural thing.
Yep.
It's why we can still see at night. There is light. There's always light. Um, so yeah, and I think there's probably other terms in here like that too. But yeah, it's good to know. It's good to know these things. It's good to be able to talk about them and
True.
understand more about what we're shooting.
It's true. And if you're Tim Cooper, you remove all air glow. I've seen him do it. He's like,
Yeah.
nah, I don't like that green. Nah. So it's unnatural to him, even though it's natural. So there you go. There's taste, right? Well, here's another one that, I mean, we're still in the A's, but here's another one that's been bouncing around a lot.
Asterism. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this was great. This was one of Lance's contributions. I didn't know this term. Did you know it?
I had heard him say it before, but I have this remarkable ability to forget things. So once he said it the third time, it stuck.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was because we had several mentions of constellations in the glossary, and Lance was like, actually, those are asterisms, and so he added this, and it's great. I mean, I didn't know that the Big Dipper is not technically officially a constellation. It's an asterism of
Oh,
Ursa Major. So there's what, 80, 88, 80 something official constellations, which is an interesting concept in itself, that there are official constellations and then all the other ones are unofficial.
who is this ruling body?
Exactly. And what's interesting about it is that there had been many times throughout human history when there's been sort of a set of recognized constellations. So it's not like the ones we recognize now as official are the constellations, right? I mean, these are just imaginary connections that we make when we look in the sky. In fact, there was a really interesting article within the last couple of years. I think it's in Voyageurs National Park. It's in one of the northern parks where they're making an effort to preserve the Native American constellations, what they recognized. And part of what was really interesting about it is there are connections, shapes in the sky that the Native Americans saw that are exactly the same as what we recognize, but that came from a whole different culture and even have similar symbolism sometimes too. And that's just fascinating to me, that humans in completely different eras, in completely different parts of the world, could see the same thing in the sky and use their imagination to come up with similar connections and similar concepts.
Truth.
But that's its own blog post.
Yeah. Add it
Maybe
to the
not
list,
for our
man.
blog.
Yeah. What's a term that sticks out in your mind? One that just like is sticky after this whole process.
It's been asterism, honestly. It's funny how much
love
it came up in conversation, today among us.
Yeah.
For a reason that we'll talk about on Friday. So you can ask us Friday night why asterism came up in conversation today.
Yeah, Friday night party.
But yeah, I don't. That's funny. That's probably the one that really sticks out, because I'd say it's the one that was like, for me. It was like, oh, I didn't know that word. Didn't even know it. Wasn't on my radar.
Oh, we got a submission.
The different. Okay, that's something we kind of avoided astrophotography mostly, except for when it crosses over. But that's something we could go in there and tweak.
Cool. Thanks, Steve. This is one that I will talk about.
Okay.
These are good to know because most people don't like voodoo. Color calibration, colorimeters. These are things that you should do. I know I have my little sermon about this, but color calibration is when you are using software to build a color profile with a device, right? For a device with a device. It's not eye calibration because our eyes adjust. You need to use hardware to do it, right? So, this one is really important, and that ends up building a profile, right? And you use a colorimeter to do that. That's one of the things you can use. You can also use a spectrophotometer. So these are good things that there's really confusing things when somebody says, have you profiled your display? You can come look those things up here. There's other places to look too, but we prefer you start here. Yeah.
They're all here.
And here's some other good options. When we've written a blog post that has that can further explore the topic, we link to it here. So if you want to do some deeper reading about that topic, the blog post or blog posts plural could be linked to from here.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, we could go through this. There's a lot of opportunity to talk about this stuff. I just want to point out that you did a great job with calling out what we're talking about. So chromatic aberration, you put these call outs and you made it really easy to understand what they are and where they happen. So thanks for that.
Oh, thanks. This was Tim's example photo.
Nice.
Yeah.
I recognize that. That's Wall Street.
Oh, and Arches.
Arches. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and then coma. Oh God, great example of coma.
And that's your photo, right?
The 7.5 millimeter fisheye. Yeah. Woo. I think do you have a copy of the PDF handy?
I sure do. Yeah.
Great. I'm gonna stop screen sharing.
Okay. Yeah, I think having it on the website is good because it's easy to find.
Yeah.
If my hope is that somebody who's really trying to learn something at some point, stumbles across it and it answers a question for them, like somebody who doesn't know what coma is and they're looking it up. Sorry?
Is chromatic aberration the same as color fringing?
So I would say that chromatic aberration is a form of color fringing, but color fringing can happen other ways too. It can happen from post-production. If you're getting a little aggressive with sharpening or masking, a dramatic change or something. But chromatic aberration technically would be happening in camera. And it's just physics from the light rays kind of scattering slightly differently when they come through the lens and hit the sensor.
Splitting into chroma, into separate colors.
Yeah. So I think having it on the website is valuable because it's easy to search and all of that. You don't have to download anything. But we really wanted to do an ebook too because then we can get more creative with layout, make it look nicer, which I think we did.
Boy, does it look great.
So let's take a look at that. And
while he's doing that, I just want to say every time I see a new ebook come out that's passed through Chris's hands, it just takes my breath away. Does a great job. putting this stuff together. And it shows there's been many of you will explain this. This PDF is available as a pay what you will on our website, which means if you think that $0 is the right price, totally fine, no problem, you can do that. But if you do decide to pay something for it, you could pay $1 or more. And there's been a lot of gratitude expressed for this ebook, and for those of you that paid anything for it, we thank you. And for those of you who didn't pay anything, that's totally okay. That's why we put the pay-as-you-go model, and we appreciate everyone who wants to enjoy the content. So thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to put it out there to help people. On the other hand, we are running a business, and it takes time and resources to make these things. So we do appreciate people who feel like they can pay for it. We do appreciate that. So without you, we wouldn't be able to provide it for the people who maybe can't afford to spend some money on it. So we're all in this together, and this is one of the ways we are. So thank you.
Okay.
So are you seeing it? Is my screen share working? Excellent.
Working.
Okay, so there's our beautiful cover, and a little word about what to find in here, and then we've got a little bit of self-promotion, right? So we got the Night Photo Summit coming up, and make sure everybody knows about that. But then here we go in the very detailed table of contents here. But as you can see already, right? Like it's more photo intensive than we could do on a web page. So, as we go through now, instead of having the photos just as thumbnails, we can really show them off. And this is one of Lance's photos, a great example of Airglow. When I was with him this night, we were shooting up in the Yosemite High Sierra, and we just had this wonderful Airglow. It seemed like every direction we shot. This is facing north, obviously, and it was there. It was funny. I had kind of forgotten about it. I asked Lance if he had any Airglow photos, and he's like, "Yeah, from Yosemite." I was like, "Oh, yeah, that's right." But so he sent this one in. And then Aurora and through this. And then so some of these photos are scenic, like you can see, and then other ones are displaying a concept. So this one's part of a series of 3 photos that show up throughout the ebook with backlight, side light, and front light. And then of course we got some product photos too, because a lot of the terms are just like this, a ball head. Most people probably know what that is. A black card, maybe fewer people know or don't know necessarily what the application for it is in night photography, and mostly we use it to flag a flashlight. So if you want a light paint in the scene without the camera seeing your light source, then use a black card. And then get even more obscure, a batten off mask. So that's something that we've been seeing more and more in the night photo industry the last few years. This one's the Focus on Stars, which is a relatively new one. So again, so all different sorts of photos, and like I said, we can illustrate in a way that is harder to do on the website. So that's why it's important for us to do this. What'd you say?
Portal.
Lovely comet photo there, Matt.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. So let's see. Is there anything in particular we want to call out here? The Galactic Core, sort of one of the stars of the book, right? We even have, this is our one daylight shot. Huh?
Nice.
Yeah.
I was just saying that having it illustrated, there's not a lot of room for all those photos on a website. It kind of slows down the page load and all that. So
yeah,
being able to consume in something more like a book form that has richer illustrations, for me, is a superior experience.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. I love this one. This is your photo, the herringbone effect up there, which is, this is a really good example of how I think the glossary can be useful for people, because we can be in a class or whatever and, or talking about the herringbone effect, and unless you see it, you're probably not going to know what it is. But if you've done any stacking, you've come across this, right? And it's, and that's an artifact. I love these two. Lance had all these photos of the different kinds of artificial light that you encounter in urban situations. So those are peppered throughout the book to the so right here, the high pressure sodium vapor light. Some hot pixels. Yeah. So yeah. So here, it's okay. So this is one. If we get any email complaining about a definition, I expect it to come from this page. And this is something that we talk about a lot, particularly with other night photographers, is the difference between these different light words, light painting, light writing. We had a discussion amongst ourselves last summer, and we even called in something that Royce had written about whether low-level landscape lighting is light painting, or is it, so, for somebody who's outside the industry, who's outside this niche, maybe they don't, they probably don't care about these things, and they probably think we're silly for discussing it much.
It's all light painting, yeah.
But yeah, exactly. But there are meaningful distinctions between what these things are, and if you're gonna be talking to people and getting together and collaborating, common language is important. Yeah. Another term like that in the glossary is the difference between astrophotography and astro landscape photography. That's something that we hear kind of mixed up a lot. And again, these distinctions are important. In fact, it happened with one of our speakers for the Night Photo Summit submitted their talk, and the title was talking about astrophotography, and we had to point out that the difference is meaningful. And if you come into an audience that expects astrophotography to mean shooting deep space objects, and you're really talking about astro landscape, where you're photographing stars and the Milky Way and things over earthbound scenes, right? A knowledgeable audience isn't, they're not going to know what you're talking about. In fact, if that speaker had stuck with the title talking about astrophotography, they probably wouldn't have gotten any of the people who were really interested in what they were actually talking about, and vice versa. People who were interested in astrophotography probably would have shown up and been disappointed. So words matter.
Words matter.
Yeah. So light painting, light writing, light drawing, light graffiti. They're all laid out in here, and I expect that some people are going to be a little surprised with the definitions, but we stand by them, and I'll say largely because one of our business partners is Lance Keimig, who has been doing night photography for longer than just about anybody else in the world. There's not a lot of people who have been doing it longer than him, and if they have been, he knows them and he has shot with them. So Lance is, my point is that Lance has been around for a long time, and he knows how these terms have been used traditionally. That said, there's always this funny line, like language itself is dynamic, right? It does change over time. So you do hit a point where a word has been misused enough so that its meaning becomes that misuse, and now that misuse is now just a use, right? So there is that argument to make, but again, we do believe that these distinctions are important, so we wrote them down. Here we go. So that's our. There's some more light, and geez, we're only halfway through the book.
Right.
That's a pretty nice photo too, Matt.
Thanks. We go places and do fun things, aren't we lucky?
We do. So, anyway, there we go. That's our ebook, and okay. So, I stopped sharing, right?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
I'm just going to share real quick if you were interested, I posted it in the chat. If you're interested in downloading the PDF, this is the URL, and this is what the page looks like. And there's the interface where you can choose what you want to pay. And then I also posted this link directly to the glossary, the guide in the chat. So please feel free to visit either one of those and use them both, and please share them. We'd love for anybody that's interested in night photography to be aware of it, and we thank you for that.
Yep. Yes. If there's anything we've ever done that we really want people to spread, or we altruistically want people to spread it, this is pretty high up on the list. We do think this can be helpful to our whole area of photography, and so please do share it.
Thank you. Wow. So what else are we working on? Is there anything else going on?
Oh yeah. We've been working. I remember it was only a couple of years ago when winter was our off season. It's not anymore. We've got the Night Photo the Night Photo Summit is starting in 3 days. So yes, 2.5.
If you go to the homepage, it says 2 days, 14 hours, 28 minutes, and 37, 36, 35 seconds.
Okay. We have a little work left to do.
A little bit. We should probably go do some more of that work, but
probably.
We can mention it one more time.
The Night Photo Summit?
Night Photo Summit.
Oh, okay.
NightPhotoSummit.com. So,
yeah.
I guess I'm wearing the sweatshirt right now, which was, a very limited edition. But I have the shirt to show.
Do you have it in reach? Mine's over here.
I have to put down Princess Tuna, though.
Oh, don't. I'll get mine.
Okay.
Okay. Here we go. That's the brand new shirt.
I want to make it Chris only. There we go.
There we go. 2022.
There we go.
I think I'm backwards.
You got it. You got it.
Up, got it right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I haven't worn mine yet. I also have it extra small in the box for my daughter Maggie. She loves our shirts, and So that's our first short order. We do place a second order after the event's over. So anybody who didn't get in time for the first order, you'll still get a shirt. So, yes.
Oh, I'm gonna share this too. For those of you who are registered for the summit, you may have attended last night. There was a pre-summit event called How We Got the Shots, 5 photographers, 5 stories. We've put that up as a free preview on the homepage of the Night Photo Summit website. So you can get a taste of what it's like to be an attendee of the Night Photo Summit. So if you're on the fence, if you haven't decided yet, go watch this video and you'll see what it's like to be there, minus the chat. So you will be able to interact with other people, among many, many other wonderful things that come with the summit, such as how many prizes do we have?
There's 110 now. 110 giveaways.
Giveaways.
Yeah. Between the sponsors and the speakers, it's really something.
It's the generosity of the sponsors and the speakers is extraordinary this year. So that's a side benefit. You get 45 plus hours of education, and we figured it out to be less than $10 an hour, right? Mm-hmm. By the time you're done watching all of them. So,
and you could win a $500 lens while you're there too.
You could win an IRIX lens. Isn't that cool? Wow. So check it out. If you have any questions, just shoot us an email, adventure@nightphotosummit.com. And a lot of information is already here on the website. It's good to check it out. We can't recommend it enough because, we put heart and soul into providing this opportunity for the community to come together and teach their best.
Yeah. There's some exciting ones. I can't wait to see Kevin's talk on fireflies. That's going to be so cool. Yeah. Which I knew it was going to be good because I know Kevin and he's a nice guy and he's funny and he's a good photographer. Man, when I saw the photos that he sent in to use as the promos, those photos blew me away. Like those have to be the best firefly photos I've ever seen. He gets really creative with them. They're pretty cool.
Amazing. Jay asked a fun question.
The significance of the 3 dots on the ring and the logo. So our art director, Kirsten Naven. She's the one who designs our T-shirts as well. She puts a lot of thought into the designs that she creates, and she knows we're all about the night, and so she incorporates that. So this this is a planet, right? And those are the moons, or are those the planet? Are those planets around the sun? Yeah. Let's. So there are planets. They are planets. I'm looking at her notes. Right. So those are planets. Those are orbits. And those are, so that's what they are.
Yeah. Great question.
Mm-hmm. And if you take a close look, you'll notice that the planets are in different spots based on whose headshot you're looking at. There's not a lot of rhyme to a reason to where the planets are, but there's a little bit.
Yeah. But there's a little bit of fun thing to discover in there. So, yeah. DJ C asked if we can order a sweatshirt. I'm sorry for teasing you. The sweatshirt was something. It was something that, when we were doing our second order last year, as in the I guess proprietors of the summit were like, hey, you know what? They've got the screen, so we just asked for, a couple of sweatshirts here and there.
Yeah, so. It was a gift to ourselves after it was done. But should we assume that you're interested? Is that why you're asking? We haven't talked about it, but I wouldn't say it's off the table. I don't know. It might probably be hard to pull off at this point, but in the future, if people are interested, let us know, and in the future, I'm sure we can make it happen.
Yep. Hadley, thank you so much, Hadley.
Thank you, Hadley. Thank you, Hadley.
Amazing. We appreciate you.
Yes.
Yeah. And we look forward to seeing you Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah. And DJ says, yes, it's cold at night. Fair point. Fair point. Great. Yeah. Drop us a line. Send us an email, adventure@nightphotosummit.com. So,
yeah. The sweatshirts really, I remember that moment last year when because we didn't know how things were going to go, and it went well. And we were there on that last night and kind of just enjoying the glow of it. And we were like, let's get some sweatshirts. It was, and I think about that almost every time I wear it, just that feeling and why we got them. We splurged on ourselves. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well,
yeah.
Next time you see us, if you've registered, you'll be at the Night Photo Summit. Otherwise, we'll probably be, I don't know what we're doing next week. We might rest a little bit. It's been a slog, but we don't rest that long when we do rest at all. So
no, we might want to be doing a blog chat next Tuesday.
Oh, yeah, there will be a blog chat next Tuesday.
Yeah, we'll take 100%. Monday off.
Yeah. 100% blog chat next Tuesday.
Right. We hope to see you all at the Night Photo Summit. We understand that not everybody can come, and that's fine. If you can't be at the Night Photo Summit, be on our blog on Saturday.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that for now.
Thank you, Jay. We appreciate it. And thank you, Sandra. We will see you in Mojave.
Oh, hey, Sandra. Didn't see you on here.
What's up? Yeah,
cool.
That's coming up in March.
Yes. Workshop season's about to start.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
The work is never over, but workshop season is starting.
That's okay. It's good to be busy when you like what you do.
Yeah. Oh, and I just want to say, since Steve is here, I ordered the Mac 90 telescope, and it arrived, and it's been bitter cold. It's been like sub-zero temperatures. So I've taken it out for a couple minutes at a time here and there, and it's pretty exciting. I'm having fun. It's my first telescope since I was a kid. So
wow.
Getting back into that has been really fun. So
cool.
All right. Well, Chris, let's get back to work.
Yep. Well, hope you enjoyed our words about words.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. Yeah. Check the glossary out. Share it with your friends. And we'll see you at the summit, or we'll see you online. We'll definitely see you next week. Okay.
Good night.
Good night, everybody. You say good night, Tuna. She's leaving. It's definitely over now.
She's only here for the YouTube.
It's true. She's famous now.